the stage our fearless CEO, Milind Pan. Now, to moderate this conversation, let's welcome back our own Vice President of Amway North America Sales, Rajneesh Chopra.
All right.
What an honor and privilege it is for me to have shared the stage with Dr. Voss and Milind Pan. And we are very fortunate to actually have both of you come to Achievers. So it's not always that you get both Doug and Milind together at Achievers in one session. So thank you for coming.
Yes, we like this. This is fabulous. It's great to be here.
So Doug, we know the family's commitment to the business last 60 years. It's been unwavering commitment to the future of Amway business. What does family's involvement look like for the future? What does family's commitment and partnership and investments look like as we look at the road to E70?
Yeah, thanks, Rajneesh. And first of all, what an honor to be with you and to see the numbers that Rajneesh shared of your success and what you're doing and how many of you are moving forward and how many of you are learning new ways to build a better business for yourself. We're so proud of you. I want to just thank you and congratulate you for all the great things that you're doing. This is just such a fabulous event. To be able to participate with and just to be here, Rajneesh, with you and Milind and everyone in attendance. And because if you talk about that topic and we talk about family, look around. I mean, how many people did I just connect with here who are part of families in their businesses, in your business, with what you're doing and where you're going, and you share the same characteristics that we try to share as well. You are committed to your business. You're committed to the people in your business. You're committed to the future. You're looking ahead. You're trying to find the best ways forward. You're investing in your business with your time, talent, and treasure. It's personal. You can't separate yourself when you're part of a family and in business together. You can't separate yourself out. There's always that connection there, and we think that's a huge positive characteristic of the Amway business. And so we've worked really hard to make sure we're engaging our family like you're engaging your family. So, but amongst the Vanandels and DeVosses, we've been working a lot over the years to really make sure we're encouraging and engaging and inviting more family participation, more family engagement, and we're doing it together with all of you, just like you're doing and like you're making that happen. And so that's a transition that takes a little time. It's not just a quick transition where you just one starts and the other stops. It's a transition that allows some joy of working together across generations. And we don't use generations to divide us. Oh, you're in this generation, you're in that generation. We mix it together and say we're all connected. Partnership goes that way too. It goes vertically. We're all connected in this business together, and we want to keep growing and moving forward together. And there's a lot of fun things that happen along the way. I'll just share one story. We were early in the process with this transition, more recent transition from the second to the third generation. And there was a few of us in the second generation that were having a conversation, and we had some questions read to us from the third generation that they weren't present for, but they had written them down. They wanted to ask us, wanted us to think about the answers. And a lot of the questions were kind of in the vein of, when are you going to get out of the way? When are you guys going to think of something new? When are you really going to be creative? It was actually with Dan, my brother Dan, and Dave Vanandel, Barb Vanandel, myself, and we all looked at each other, started laughing. We said, sounds a lot like us 30 years ago. And there's some of those consistent ideas of we want to move forward, but we want to move forward together. The experience of our generation, or those of us who are more experienced in the business, is needed. But we always want the energy and the engagement of the next generation as well in the family business. And so we want to invest in the future. We see tremendous opportunity ahead of us. That's why we're investing in the things that you've been seeing here. We're thrilled about that. We're happy to do that. We're thrilled thrilled with the great teams here and all of you working together to turn those investments into your success. And when you succeed, then the company's going to be just fine. That's the thing that Dad and Jay taught us all the way through. When you succeed, the rest of it.
Thank you, Doug. That was great message from you about talking about the future and how the families are going to keep investing into the future. Milind, so exactly 1 year ago, you were at Nashville, and that was your first Achievers and the start of Milind's journey with Amway. So you've been visiting many, many markets in the last 1 year, and you've seen a lot of things. So can you share your perspective about the Amway business with with all our qualifiers here?
So, yeah.
1 year, holy smokes, let's hear it for that. Yeah.
It's fascinating. It was a year back, even before I formally joined Amway, that I tagged along with Steve to Nashville. And I remember Amrita and I were together, and I said, my God, I worked with Unilever, I worked with Yum, and yes, we were the people business and we knew about passion. But if the company where I worked earlier, passion was here, in Achievers Nashville with all of you, it was here, like this high. I loved your stories. I still remember the heroes and the awards, and kind of got tears to our eyes. Loved the big heart all of you have. Loved your passion for Amway's purpose, helping people live better lives. It was just fascinating start, even before I formally joined Amway, which was in January. Once I joined, I got good advice from my gurus, Doug and Steve. They said, Milind.
It's a new role for us. Chairman, co-guru.
They said, Milind, I didn't use exact words, but the way we articulated it was, let's go listen and learn. So I went out to listen and learn from a number of you here. I met you in person, to your other colleagues and IBOs across the world, looked at different markets, understood kind of the spirit of who we are, why we are here, what's changing also outside of Amway. Went to companies in California, in China to understand where the mega trends are. And I came back with this realization. First, we've got huge strengths. And I'll just share 4 of them with you. The first is the entrepreneurial spirit of all of you, our IBO leaders. I've said this before. Amazon and Jeff Bezos and everyone, they have everything, but they don't have one thing. What is it? You. They don't have you. They don't have your energy. They don't have your infectious optimism. They don't have your humanity. They don't have your heart that is for both you, your families, and your downloads.
Wow.
That's our biggest strength. The second one is we've got a seed to supplement expertise, which starts with our organic farming up to our products and their high qualities, which is unmatched. It's unfortunately a secret because the word outside, at least I didn't know about it before I joined Amway. But I went to El Petecal in Mexico, I went to Washington State, both to Trout Lake East and Trout Lake West, and I said, oh my God, look at what we do. Look at the standards we have. Things like organic farming are today mainstream plant-based diets, but we started this 60 years back, 85 years back. I spent time with Dr. Sam and tried to understand from him his philosophy. That's a big strength. The third one is communities and vibrant communities that you build. You build it across the world, our IBOs and ABOs build it, that's real. It's built in the offline world, but it's strong and these are vibrant. And the fourth one, I think Jim talked about this earlier and has been mentioned a number of times, is our partnership. It's based on founders' fundamentals of freedom, family, hope, and reward. And these are strong. They've been together for 60 years, and they're going to be there for the next 60 years across generations, like Doug just mentioned. These are huge strengths for all of us. We should never ever underestimate any of these. But the reality also is that the world is changing, and changing very fast. Rich and Jay always said we should keep the best of our past, but we should continuously change. Now, one of the things that is been in our past, and Jim shared about the 1962 document, is being the customer. Now, I remember speaking to Dick the other day, and he was telling me when he was, he used to kind of come and intern in Amway for his summer whatever, school or summer internship in Amway. At that time, he used to take groups of IBOs around on a tour of Amway without sharing his family name, just saying,
He went by Dick Marvin. Dick, so that's his middle name, right? So Richard Marvin Jr., so it was Dick Marvin. And the funny thing is, we actually had an employee at Amway named Dick Marvin. So there was a little confusion where Dick Marvin would go, who is this other guy? And my brother Dick, who went by that name. Just a little background.
So Dick was sharing about this huge sculpture, which was a part of the tour, in the Amway World Headquarters, 16 feet tall, the way I say it, taller than Steve. I mean, the only way 16 feet tall, I don't know, hundreds of pounds heavy. It's now in the Guangzhou Amway Experience Center. It's been known there. But it's a fascinating sculpture or statue. At the base of it, and to me, it's the philosophy of what Amway and philosophy of Rich and Jay. At the base of it is the founding families. The founding families, on the next layer above the founding families, is employees, people like Rajneesh and I. Then the employees are serving the next layer, and who's on that layer? Who are we serving? We're serving you. We know it's in your success, is our success. But here's the fascinating part. Who's on the top of this culture, above the IBOs? The customer. It's there in our DNA. It's there in our history. It's there in our foundation. It's there in our roots. So going forward, my biggest learning is, how do we help the new IPO succeed with easy, early, fast earnings, and by building a community of customers, which goes back to our mission and our purpose, helping people live better lives. It's consistent with what we've done. It's consistent with some of the best practices across the world. And that's where the world is going. And that's what we want to do. We want to invest in your success. And we want to invest in a virtuous cycle that starts with the success of the new person, the new IPO, in serving customers. So that's a long answer to your short question.
Thank you. So I'm encouraged to actually ask my next question again to you, Milind.
Okay.
You know, your energy and your passion, you talk about the journey, the vision to A70. We are all very inspired and optimistic about our future. And, as you see, what's your vision to carry us to the journey of A70?
Doug, Steve, and I in A60 in Vegas, it was to celebrate and thank the achievements and honor the achievements, and we did that, and it was fantastic. But we also took the time to kind of lay out our early thoughts to A70. We are fortunate, I'm fortunate to be part of a business where we can think long term. Actually, Doug would say A70 is medium term. Right? Long term is next 60 years, medium term is 10 years, and short term is 3 years. I don't know. Maybe that's the way we can do it with the family commitment that we have. As we were thinking about A70, again going back to what we learned, we did learn first from outside Amway and looked at what are the mega trends. And again, what I'm going to say to you is no surprise. The mega trends were the gig economy has had explosive growth. So for a young person today, there are lots of options. if she or he is looking for flexibility of time, looking to work hard, follow their, so there are lots of options for them. So the gig economy there's been explosive growth. The second is there are thriving communities. Earlier the communities used to be in the neighborhood, in the local area, but now communities are there online. I remember we went to Google and they talked about communities, and the gentleman there took an example. He said, Milan, you realize that for shower curtains, I said, what? Shower curtains. There are 200 vibrant online communities with people discussing and debating shower curtains. And look at our business. We've got fitness, we've got beauty, we've got adventure, we've got active health, we've got such great categories that we operate in with high quality products, some of it that Jim and David were sharing with you earlier, right? These online vibrant communities are kind of made for us and what Amway stands for. That was the second thing. The third thing that we noticed is the easy, frictionless shopping experience. It happens with all of us. In our home, every morning there seems to be an Amazon box. I don't know who orders it. Our son orders it. I don't know who does. But there's always something there, and it's so easy and frictionless. And that's the new standard expectation for customers. So we learned from that from outside Amway. Then we said, let's learn from inside Amway. So I asked the question, if we take the last, 10, 20, 30 years, let's take the last 30 years, which has been the business of the market that's had sustained growth, year after year, no boom, no bust, year after year after year after year. I said, let's see the data for all, we are in 100 markets. And you know the one that stood out? Thailand. So Thailand stood out. It had sustained growth. We went to Thailand and said, okay, what have you been doing? You know what they said? They put a chart up for me and said, rich divorce, business fundamentals. I said, okay, teach me. I met the leaders there, Linoy and the others, said, teach me. They said, well, the first thing is, we always focus on the product and the customer. We always start with retailing. And when we focus on the product and customer, within that, nutrition and Nutralite was our big focus. I said, that sounds good. Second, they said, we build communities around fitness and beauty and with excess coming in with adventure. I said, that looks great. And then third, they said, is the partnership between the Amway team in Bangkok and the leaders is like this. They're like this. They're seamless partnership. They can finish each other's sentences, right, as they're building the business. Now, the Thailand business is not online. So this is not about should we be online, should we be offline, are we a face-to-face business? We are a social business. Social is as much face-to-face as it is online today. Some friendships start face-to-face, go online, some start online, go face-to-face, a combination. The Thailand business has been based on face-to-face, and it's very successful. So we looked at Thailand. Then we said, look at some other country. Then we looked at China. So what is China doing differently? Well, China is helping the new idea succeed through social selling. So they're a partner with Tencent. And Tencent or WeChat, for those of you who know about it, is a combination of Twitter and Facebook and Grubhub and Uber and Lyft and Yelp and PayPal, all in one. It's all one platform. So they partnered with it to help the new idea reach out and sell to customers online in a very easy way. And then they've got a back-end partnership again to deliver 90% of their orders within 24 hours. So if you order 24 hours, it's at your home in 90% of the cases. I said, that's great, we learned from China. The third place to learn was where? North America. Because the work that North America has done, that Jim and Rajneesh shared with you, is about building the width, the structure, right? It comes from the philosophy of, we can call it Founders Platinum, the Ruby. It comes with the philosophy that have a profitable width structure, which leads to, obviously, money, and then a virtuous cycle again of growth. We picked all these learnings up, and we said, let's now build a multi-year plan for A70, which has been called the Journey to Social Commerce. And as a part of the plan, we started making the moves that Jim shared with you earlier. We want to first start with solving all the pain points. Before we do anything glamorous, where rubber hits the road, we want to solve your pain points. We want to solve your pain points on ordering, on paying, on tracking, on getting stuff, on sampling, and for that for your customers. That's the first thing. The second thing is we want to get products in that are door opener. Door opener not just in face-to-face, door openers also online. And door openers in our core categories, Nutrilite and artistry and excess. We want to get increasingly door opener products for you that we are now calling Instagenic, but it's the same idea. They're Instagram worthy, they're photogenic. David shared with you some of those products today. And NY Nutrilite is another one of those, Artistry Beauty is another one of those, Studio, and there's a lot of stuff coming. Then you want to build the online tools, the data, the training to help all of you grow your businesses, especially help the new IBO succeed. And we'll do all this together. We will design this together. We'll take your feedback as we've always done. And I'm so proud of all the work that the North America team is doing. And you should know we are fully supportive. We will invest in this business. There'll be Core Plus, and there'll be so much more coming your way as we go on the journey to A70, which is the medium term of 2029 on the long-term journey. I hope that that answered your question.
It does. Thank you, Milan. Thank you very much. Very insightful. Doug, we know that
I was just listening to Milan.
next one's for you, Doug.
Oh, okay. Better pay attention.
We know that marketplace is evolving, and so is the environment around direct selling, which is changing. What does this really mean for us at Amway?
Well, the marketplace is always changing, and I think if you look in the industry, you've seen a lot of things, happening around the industry that actually we're talking about with reputation, because a lot of the people in the marketplace still don't understand. All those searches are happening because they don't understand, and I've had a chance over my career to be involved with the U.S. Direct Selling Association. I was the chairman of that. A number of years ago, the chairman of the World Federation of Direct Selling Associations around the world. And a lot of times our discussion would be talking about what we face or what everybody faces in the industry. Direct selling is viewed as mysterious, or Amway is viewed as mysterious. It's in many cases misunderstood. They may get a part of it, but they don't really fully grasp it. And sometimes it's misrepresented. People purposely misrepresent who we are. And so that creates a challenge for us in the marketplace to make sure that we present ourselves, we always present ourselves in a way that is not focused on what we say, it's focused on what we say to enact what somebody hears. So a lot of times we assume things, we know things, we understand the business, so our language, our words, our symbol system will reflect all the things that you and I know. But when you talk to a new person, it sounds like we're from Mars or something like that, right? And now, if you know them and if you talk to them long enough, most of the time they'll come in, they'll understand it, they'll get it. But they'll all go to the web, they'll all go to the Google, and there's still that percentage out there who aren't going to hear what we have to say. They're going to make up their own stories about it, and they're going to create disruption for us. And so it's on us to work together to deal with these reputational issues, to make sure that the words that we use, the practices that we enact are more clearly understood by people. And one of the things that we've been talking about here is some of the basics that we all know, but we all assume amongst ourselves probably a little bit more than we should, and that is talking about the products, talking about the customers, because we're so excited about the business opportunity. And we know that they all go together. We know that there's a balance there. And so I think that's one of the things that we're seeing in the marketplace is people are demanding from us a more full and complete understanding of our business. And it's up to us to deliver that to them so we answer their questions. We take away the mystery by what we do in the first interaction that we have, because we're thinking about what they're hearing even beyond what we're saying. So we have to match what we're saying to what we want them to hear, because the marketplace is skeptical. The advance of a lot of tech companies really does create a lot of confusion in the marketplace. A lot of things that are out there, and the internet also creates a way for fraud to be rampant and to be happening in a lot of different ways that we didn't expect before. And so it's always on us to make sure that we're keeping up with the marketplace in that way. So you talked earlier, you talked about the quality assurance standards of what we do, and not just in this room. But the challenge with our business is with the new person who's finding the next new person. I was in India a number of years ago talking to government officials, and they said, we understand the business. We get it. We pay attention. We know what's going on. The challenge that you have is the last mile. We understand the foundations behind it, but it's what that last person says to the newest person that creates angst in the marketplace. Now, a couple things really quickly. We want to be on the consumer side. We are always, as an organization, all of us are on the new person's side, because we want to protect every consumer from a product perspective, from a business opportunity perspective, and we've been a leader in that category. And so we want to make sure we are lined up on the consumer protection side all the time. And we do that through governments, we do that through Better Business Bureaus, through the Direct Selling Association. We do that in a number of ways. But it's that last mile piece that is critical to teach and to make sure that is put into practice throughout your organizations. And it goes on from there to make sure that when we do that common understanding does get grasped. So we are on the side of the marketplace, because regulators will always be wondering, and they'll always be fighting for the consumers. We want to make sure we're on the side of regulators, we're on the side of the consumers, and we've been doing that around the world. Now, we've been challenged around the world as well. And so we have to always be looking at ourselves to get better in this area. And that's the second part of how do we build on our partnership? And how do we really get ourselves in the mind of that new person who's experiencing you or your newest person for the very first time? They're not going to see any of the other stuff that we're talking about here. They're going to see a person who's talking about a product, who's talking about an opportunity. What are they going to see? What are they going to hear? What's the story they're going to take away? And if we don't present the full picture of what the story is about our business, they're going to make stuff up. It's just a human tendency. They don't do it with any bad intent. They're just going to create a story in their own mind if we don't make sure we give them the full story, the whole story, in a way that they can grasp and understand. And so I think the marketplace is changing. People are very skeptical. People are always going to want to double check. They're going to go to the websites. They're going to go check things out. They want to go see for themselves. And that's great. We can stand up. And there's just one other thing to remember when in the midst of when we're doing this. Every other organization in our industry, or who wants to be in our industry, or pretends to be in our industry, is going to make the claim that they're just like Amway. We're just like Amway. And I've heard that for so many times my whole life. In fact, one of my very early experiences at Amway was doing market research when I was one of the summer interns. And I would look through the literature of our competitors. I was doing a lot of competitive research. And it's like, you read this business, oh, we're just like Amway. You read another business, we're just like Amway. You read another business, we're just like Amway. And they'd have all these fancy things that they'd say. And I went to my boss and I said, wow, these companies, they kind of look good, sound good. They say they're just like Amway. What's happened to them? And my boss says, they all went out of business. So I said, well, they're just like Amway, only broke, So, okay, we missed that part. But that's what we're dealing with in the marketplace. We're dealing with a lot of messages and a lot of confusion, and it's up to us to deliver the right message with the right strategies in the right ways, so that we get through, so that people hear the fullness of what the Amway business is. And if we don't do that, if we struggle with that, the market will punish us. We will struggle in the future if that doesn't happen. So the good news is we're in this together. We're working through it. This is not new for us. The market is just changing again, like it's changed in the past. We've dealt with these issues before, but we will always have to deal with the issue. We can't ignore it. We can't pretend that we're just going to keep doing things the way we've always done it. As you said, we're taking the best of our past, but we have to make changes for the future. We have to get better in this area so the market fully understands who we are.
Thank you for your perspective on that, Doug. And our commitment has always got to be, we've got to be flexible, got to adapt to the changing environment, and make those changes to make our business bigger and better.
Amen.
And the other thing that I wanted to build on what Doug said, there's no one just like him.
Yeah. They all claim to be just
They
like
all
him.
claim to be just like us.
They're not.
There's no one just like him. Milan, you know, as we talked about, you talked about building different communities and the existing communities that we have, you know, leveraging different experiences. And you talked about the customer right on top of the statue, right? So how do we, going forward, attract, retain, delight customers? What's your vision around that?
You know, can I just build on something Doug said earlier, and then I'll come to your question. I was reflecting, you know, as Doug was mentioning, you know, everybody wants to be like Amway. I think the reason no one can be like Amway, because Amway has been the pioneer. And as I read more and more about, you know, Rich and Jay and their early lives, they were pioneers. And as pioneers, it is our responsibility today to lead ourselves, and I guess the rest of the industry may follow or may say that they are like Amway, but I think it's our duty. It's our duty to all of ourselves. For those of you who are building multi-generation businesses, it's a duty to the next generation. It's our duty to the new person who joins the business, the new IBO, that we've got to reinvent ourselves. Again, keeping the best of the past, but acknowledging all the changes that are taking place and that are happening very fast. So I think it's a duty to change that, and we are in this together, and we will invest, and we'll have each other's back as we do that. So what is it about customers? You know, that's that question you're asking. I think it starts with, in some sense it starts with, I would say it first starts with, if you want to go to that sculpture, it starts with a responsibility as Amway corporate team. It's our responsibility to make it not 1x, 2x, but 10x easier for the new IBO to sell to customers. It's difficult just now. It's not easy. We are getting better. We are improving ourselves, but we have to do so much more. We have to keep getting products that are innovative, that are in neutral light and in artistry, that are reasonably priced, that are differentiated, that, you know, the IBO finds it easy to sell. We've got to have, we've made a big move, like Jim mentioned earlier, with the new shopping experience for the IBO. Now we've got to make the new shopping experience for the IBO's customers. It's to be very easy and frictionless. And the customer standards, both on shopping, which is end-to-end, including the example of Prime that Jim took, is Amazon and other such places. And we've got to get to the standard. We've got to help our IBO do that. We've got to help them with training. We've got to help them. They don't have time. A new IBO normally has 4 to 8 hours a week. They're part-time. In that, how can you make it easy? Like Amway China has a 21-day online training program for a new IBO, which is gamified. So you keep playing a game, you keep getting kind of points, keep getting successes, keep trying things out, and you keep learning. So how do we start teaching and helping the new IBO sell to customers? Because they're coming with a lot of passion, a lot of grit, a lot of energy, but they'll get multiple no's in that journey. How do we help them do that? So there are so many ways in which we need to keep, and also obviously the plan. And you know, Co-Plus is right there. We're putting where the, you know, like the money where the mouth is. We're investing for the new IBO success. We want the new IBO to have easy, early earnings. Not wait for 4 years or 5 years, but start making good money from the first 30 days, the first 90 days, so that they feel good about it, right? And there's a virtuous cycle that, of course, moves up in terms of migration and everything else. So those are some of the components. As I said, we're designing it piece by piece. There are cross-functional teams that are working on it, and don't judge us by what I say and what we say. Judge us by what we bring to you to help you and your new idea to succeed, starting in 2020.
Thank you, Dean. And last question to you, Doug. Building on what Milind said, as you look at the families have always had a great, strong vision for the Amway business, what do you think that these achievers need to know from you, which is foundational and is going to be extremely vital to their success for the next future goals?
You know, that is probably a question that we've been talking about as long as I've been alive. You know, what is going to keep this thing moving? What are those elements? And probably, as I think about this, and I've tried to answer this in times past, I think the discussion that I'd like to have with everybody is to say, we know who we are and we know why we do what we do. If you go back to the Simon Sinek, the golden circle, and you get in the middle of the why, it's all about the why. The what and the how we'll talk about in a little bit, but it's the why. This idea, the Amway idea, that people, if given a chance, would do something with that chance. They would make something out of that opportunity, because so many people in life never had the chance. And we never wanted to narrow the opportunity to just a few select friends. We wanted to open the opportunity to everybody. We want everybody to have an opportunity in this world and in this business. And it's that idea, that entrepreneurship, this idea of freedom and free enterprise, that if we find a way to connect it to an individual and we give that opportunity, that chance, people will take it. And so business ownership, free enterprise, entrepreneurship, the why of Amway, the cause. And I think that's what drives us, that's what holds us together. Whatever we may disagree about on any front, we can all go back to that in this room and other rooms and around the world and say, that's what's going to hold us together. And that's what's going to take us forward, because we know who we are and we know why we do what we do. And it's not just the families who are going to do it, it's all of our families. It's all of us who are going to be together in this, fighting for this. And when challenges come our way, we're going to come together and be partners and fight against the others who are trying to hurt us from the outside, but we're going to stay together. That's what this idea of family is. It's not just blood, it's us coming together because we believe in something. And when you believe in something, it's going to drive your behavior. You're going to come together. You're going to do what's necessary to express those beliefs and those values. And I think, that's the essence. But I also think there's a second part. As you transition from the why to the how, right? As you transition from those things that don't change, we talk about the founder's fundamentals and our operational values. There's some things when you get to the what, there's some practices that are probably going to be part of our business. We're going to sell products to customers. We're going to sponsor new people into the business, right? We're going to train new people. There's some of those practices of what we do. But I think it's equally as, the why is vital, but it's equally as important to understand that the how will always change. Because most of the how in our past isn't one of those things we want to take forward with us. Anybody want to take Throaty back forward? I mean, that was an old product. Many of you don't know that. Anyway, pick your old worst product. Aren't you glad we left that one behind? Aren't you glad we did some of the stupid things we've done in the past? Aren't you glad we stopped doing those? I think the how is equally as important to the why. And our desire to fight for the why of those things that don't change needs to equal the desire we have to fight for the how and make it change, because it has to be different for the future. It has to be different for the marketplace. And if it isn't, it could end up killing us and hurting us and not allowing us to express the why that we feel so deeply about. Right? So our job, as Van Andels and DeVos's, is the same as your job and the same as your job, whether we're all in the Amway family. And it's to protect those things and fight for those things, and then it's to fight to change those other things so that we meet the needs of the marketplace like we've been talking about, so that we build the right reputation, so that people know who we are and know why we do what we do. And then when they see us do it and they see the how, they go, oh, that makes sense, okay, I got it. They don't have to create their own story, and they are treated with the respect that they deserve as a new customer, as a new IBO, as a new person who's meeting Amway for the first time. And so those are the things that have stood us well in the past. We have overcome challenges in the past. We have had challenges in the past. We stood together and we worked through them. But we've always made changes in the past too. We've always improved the business, make it better. We made a few mistakes. We thought things were better. And it's like, okay, that wasn't so good. Let's change. Do something else. We're learning. But we're doing it together. And so I think those are some of the things that pop in my mind.
Great. Like we started off saying, it's a privilege and honor to have you both here. And just listening to Doug and Milind sharing their vision and perspective has been so inspiring for all our qualified achievements. And I can tell you, on behalf of North America, we are committed to strong, profitable, sustainable growth. Right? Yeah. We're all committed to that. And really, our goal is to make this room full of diamonds.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to look like, right?
There we go.
So enjoy the rest of the day and have fun. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks, everybody.
That was great.
Ah, yo me quiero sacar una foto con él.